Hello, peeps! I am Tidbit, me and my figures are girls, and today's showcase is of Micronus Prime from Age of the Primes. And they are the tiny little bot up here that is sitting on this massive monocycle with the huge exhaust coming out that can be bent to be like a little kickstand if you want to hold it up, or take Micronus off. Which you simply do because these are standard peg spots for the handles, and Micronus has standard peg spots for their hands. And here is Micronus with an interesting level of articulation for someone so small. And come on, focus on the face. Pretty detailed face, and on their back they're holding what is known as the Chimera Stone, to my knowledge, and it just is standard port size for that spot there. Can be held in the hand for here's a coin for your troubles. So we'll just take that off, set that just over with the rest of the treasures, and we have tiny little Micronus, and I love this. They're so tiny. Look at them. Do you want to know how tiny? Well, I'll give you one tiny example. Here's a headmaster. This is the one thing that is smaller than Micronus. This is the one person Micronus can say, hey, shorty. That is it. That is the list. Because look, even a basic target master is just about as tall. You can't really call a person who's practically at eye level with you shorty, unless you're really petty. But Micronus does have a transformation, so let's get to that. So first, what you are going to want to do is rotate the head around to a hole. It will make sense later why there's a hole here, but it is not standard size. If you can see the hand and versus the hole there, not the same size. Take the arms, rotate them up like so, then take their shoulder assembly and move it down, and then you can click them in to here, like so. Do that on both sides till it looks like that. Oh, wait, before you do that, you want to rotate the knees inwards. Then you put the arms down, so you can easily just move the knees up and around till it becomes the Minicon logo. It's a little Minicon plate, isn't that? It's so amazing. Look at this. There is a bit of visible face syndrome, but when you look at the important part, boom. And if it's laying on the floor, can't see a face when it's like that. And if you have any issue with it, take it up with the Apex armor, because we're not done here. Let's transform the Apex armor. And can't really see a robot in here, except for maybe some obvious bits, but only if you know about them. This could just look like a really weird bike to you. But how we take this bike apart, because, yeah, the main transformation of no parts forming is over here. This requires parts forming, but that's fine, because all of these are tools that can be used for other characters. And so you just simply take this off here. You open up these wings that these little tabs connect into these little divots. See? Goes like that. And then you disconnect the wheel from 4 pegs like that. Look, 4 pegs, 4 peg slots on both sides. And then you're left with a giant wheel. And this bit here. And let's put all these pieces back together. These are the main components. So let's start with the feet, the wheel, the feet. What you are going to want to do is you're going to want to look around the wheel for this little turquoise bit. Then you can split it down the middle where it is like this. Move just one side up and out so you can come to this other side and flip the turquoise peg up and out, and so you don't have any issues when trying to transform all this. So what we are going to do is just simply take these side panels after just slightly rotating against, they'll free themselves up, and move them, like so. Next, what you're going to want to do is take this end of the wheel and disconnect it, and then just kind of scrunch it up until it becomes flat. And you do that on both sides. Then make sure these pegs are facing forward, these pins, because there's a much larger side to it. And then all you got to do is take these little tab things and rotate them so they are facing backwards. Note, when you are putting this back in wheel mode, it is very important that you go up and you rotate these so the knees are facing each other over the pegs. So when you close it all up, the pegs are in the middle of the wheel and not on this end of the wheel, which will have issues when closing all up. So, you got all that? Great. And then we'll just set the legs down. Next, we are going to take this piece, this large, the handlebars and main like chassis of it. But what you're going to do is slightly just open up the wheel holders just enough so you can rotate the whole seat back on this pin, and then you can rotate these parts even higher up and close it back down like so. Next, you take these silver panels and fold them down, and you take the head and flip it up. Then you have all the pieces ready to be put together. So what we are going to do is we are going to take the legs, and you're just going to slide them under this little turquoise part till they click in to about here. Then you just take the arms and put them in pegs up here. And then, come on, stand on your own, please. There we go. Then take the cookie and put them in the belly. Like so, because we are using, there is a cavity here in the middle that is just the same size as around this peg hole. So that is how it is being connected. And then you close up this side first and this side next, because this has a wheel on it and it wouldn't work the other way. Once you do that, just make sure everything is all put together. And then for the final touch, put the Chimera Stone just right there in the middle. And boom, here we have Micronus Prime in the Apex armor. And my gosh, look at this. I love it. I love the shape of it. It's nice and chunky. It feels like armor. And it's got a simplistic, nice head to just kind of signify that this isn't fully a transformer. This is armor. This is a tool. This is a weapon. And I really like the exhausts being the fingers. They remind me of Cybertron Wing Saber with their like Gatling gun fingers. So that's a fun little throwback. And if you're going with the lore of stuff, you can just take Micronus Prime out, and since the Chimera Stone is in the Apex armor, that means it can work while Micronus is commanding it from afar. So we'll just quickly transform Micronus so you can see a size comparison between her and her giant armor bodyguard, and look at that. And here's some standard size of, we'll use Bumper, because then it's technically part of the 4-pack video, since the last two were the other two members. Who knows, Nemesis might be the next one after this, somehow. So, yeah, they're just a bit bigger than Bumblebee in height, but in width, they are massive. And I really like that. And if you don't have a Bumblebee, here is the sideways mold that has been used a lot. And it's just slightly, well, a good chunk smaller, but just as wide as one of these. And there are more features you can do with the armor. It's a weaponizer after all. It can be taken apart and used for other bots. And we're going to do kind of what the instructions say. So make sure to take out the Chimera Stone like that without dropping it. But it's easiest to come in from the side, so you can just flick it up and out. So we'll just leave that with the treasures because we won't need it for the rest of the video. And what it says to do is to just take off everything and kind of put it back into vehicle mode. So we'll put all this there. We will transform the legs back into a tire. Can you tell I've been fiddling with her a lot? I've got this down pat. And boom. But when you have it in tire mode, what you are supposed to do is open it up, flip out the peg, and leave it like this. And then everything else is to be used. Now, what they say to do is to use, slingshot. I won't be doing that. I don't like that, because they tell you to do a very strange connection of using the holes here to just hold on to a backpack and then fall off. So, I've already shown them in this video. What if, instead of using a niche mold that's only going to see 2, maybe 3 bots used for it, what if we use the sideswipe mold that kind of everyone can get? There's never not a time for sideswipe. So, what I would do is I would take the tire, put it on the arm ports as a large shield. Then you can take this backpack and close up this part. What you have to do is take this silver part and open it up slightly, so that way when this is all closing, it doesn't actually touch the other one. And boom, you have it closed, and it looks pretty nice. And you have a port connection here if you want to use that. I tried to use Quake for this, but it didn't stay too well. But you just have it all like this, rotate the wings just a tiny bit back, and then use the back port on Sideswipe, and it fits so cleanly right there. Look, nothing's have an issue. And then you can either do the thing it says in the instructions and put the arms on the sides of the legs to even out the body like this. Or, if you notice the sentence structure there, you could make the arms into a mega gun. And how I like to do the mega gun, or you can even just have them as extra arms. Since the articulation is built in, you can just have it here, and boom, you have arms, or even arms up here, boom. There's so many possibilities, but I'll just show you one. You take an arm, you rotate it. This is going to be the bottom one. You rotate it so the elbow joint goes up like so, and then you rotate the gun towards the up, where it bends. Next, you take the other arm and you rotate so it rotates down, and you put the hand towards that direction, and then you can just stick them on top of each other, and now the guns look together because you can slightly articulate the elbows to put the guns really close together, and boom, here is a mega gun. I don't want to take out their gun there, so look at that missile pod. They are ready for some destruction. And guess what? That's not the fan mode. This is just me being angry about the instructions and a strange connection that doesn't work, because Slingshot's backpack will just fall out and off if you try and put this much weight on it. So, thank you for your help, Sideswipe Mold, or also known as Wheeljack. And let's go to the fan mode for Micronus first, because yes, the fan modes are separate. So, for Micronus, you are going to turn her head around, then you're going to use that neck tilt that allows her to look at any bot bigger than her, all the way down like so. Next, take the arms, rotate them up, and then bend down at the elbow and rotate about 90-ish degrees, a little more. So you go to about here. Next, take the legs and rotate the knees. Then fully extend as much as you can, like so. And then you can bring the shoulders down till everything nicely lines up like it's a bat wing. And this is the fan mode. It's like a little jet that Micronus can turn into because they're so light, they say screw gravity. And they have little tiny thrusters on each end. But this isn't just it. I also call this the shield of minicons because if you have a classic figure that uses minicon ports, like Huffer here, who's got one on her arm and one on her chest, you can slap them on using the peg, and boom, look at that righteous breastplate. Pretty cool, right? And you could even put it on the arm like it's a blaster. Or a giant bird. So, yeah, Micronus has a lot of possibilities that go with classic minicons, and I love it. But we have the rest of the Apex armor to help support Micronus. Now, what we are going to want to do is disconnect everything from each other, and then we'll just go piece by piece. So, first, we are going to start with the legs. Just open them up and disconnect them. Then just rotate this one, not the one with the peg, like so, and get all the positioning of these joints till it looks something kind of like this, like it's a lightning bolt, and then disconnect on the peg one this door. Just disconnect it, because it'll be easier to demonstrate with this not connected. And that's that part done. Yeah, this is going to be kind of esoteric. Next, what we are going to do is we are going to take an arm. We are going to find the original orientation of everything. So you'd generally be having it like so, where it is a standard arm. And then spin the bicep 180, bend here, and rotate the hand about 90 degrees till everything looks like so. You have the silver on the outside of this curve, and you have the exhaust pipes on the outside of the curve. And you do the same thing, but mirrored to the other side. So take, rotate, and then flip these to the outside curve. And then these two parts are also ready. Now, finally, we work with the chest plates, which I freaking love. This is so useful. It's got a peg here. It's got a port here. These parts can rotate and move into so many different spots. But what we are going to do is we are going to open up the chest plates, close up the silver if you had them open, like this was going from armor mode. Then take the wheel holders and rotate them up as if they were holding a wheel. This is also another design that I really like that you can do. You can kind of have a buzzsaw weapon with this port to hold it onto something, or just a tiny motorcycle. But enough of that. Make sure it's slightly open like so. And then we have all the pieces ready. So first, what we are going to do, we are going to take the arms, note where the port is. It's going to be on the outside of the shoulder, and put it on the handle. Oh, I have this backwards. Make sure that the exhaust ports are pointing towards the end with the peg. Then, when you have it on the peg, you want to rotate it as far as it'll go without coming off the peg. So it'll be about here. And then do the same on the other side. like so. Next, take the wheel and connect 2 of the ports on each side. Like you were connecting a wheel, but there isn't the rest of a wheel here. Then just take these silver bits and reinforce the wheel holders, and boom. What is this, you might ask? Well, I said boom. Look at the chapter description. This is a catapult. Look at that. Amazing armament from a wheel. And it works so well. You can just flick this and boom. And the reason why this is open is because if you had it closed, it would just throw stuff into the floor. But since you have it open, it just kind of tracks it and throws it away. Now, how did I say it would support this? Well, obviously, you use this to send it. Woo! Super fun. And then just a kind of funny side effect that happened here is because these look like feet and there is a peg on the front of the toe, it looks like this is a creature and this is like a symbiotic little thing that comes around and just hangs on to feed off bugs. So it's two. It's everything. I love weaponizers. I love a little mech and a bigger mech. This is so amazing. So thank you for watching. To support me, you can like the video, share it around, comment your thoughts, check out the playlist for previous showcases, and subscribe to be notified when new ones come out. Bye-bye!